Good day, everyone. My presentation is entitled Kant's Catalogically Imperative and the Use of AI in Academic Assignments. In this presentation, I will evaluate the moral issue of students using AI to complete assignments and submitting the work as their own, using Immanuel Kant's three formulations of the catalogically imperative. In this presentation, I will briefly introduce Immanuel Kant and explain the idea of catalogically imperative. I will then describe the scenario of students using AI to complete assignments. After that, I will analyze this situation using the three formulas of Kant's ethical theory and provide a moral conclusion based on ethics. Who was Immanuel Kant? Immanuel Kant was an 18th century German philosopher who developed ethics, which is a moral theory based on duty and rules. Kant believed that the morality of an action does not depend on the consequences, but on whether it flows or follows a moral duty. One of the most important ideas is that we should act according to the principles that we could reasonably want everyone else to follow. In other words, morality is based on universal rules guided by reason. Now let's look at the scenario. The scenario I will evaluate is the use of artificial intelligence by a student to complete an assignment and then submitting the work as though it is theirs. In this situation, the student presents AI-generated work to the lecturer without acknowledging its use. This raises ethical concerns because it involves honesty, fairness, and academic integrity. The key issue is not the use of AI itself, but the act of misrepresenting the work for an original. Kant's first formulation states that we should act only according to the rules that could be universal laws for everyone. If every student submitted AI-generated work as their own, then academic honesty would collapse. Grades would no longer reflect real understanding or effort, and qualifications would lose their meaning. Because this behavior could not function as a universal rule without destroying the purpose of education, Kant would argue that it is morally wrong. The second formulation states that we must treat people as ends in themselves, not merely as a means to an end. In this scenario, the student uses the lecturer as a means to receive a grade while deceiving them about the true source of their work. It also disadvantages other students who completed their work honestly. This shows a lack of respect for others as a rational individual. Therefore, submitted AI-generated work, dishonesty treats others as tools rather than human beings deserving of honesty and fairness. Our third formulation suggests that we should act as if we are creating moral laws for a community of rational individuals. In a moral academic community, honesty and trust are essential. If everyone acted dishonestly by using AI without disclosure, the academic system would lose credibility and fairness. A rational community would create rules that protect integrity and responsibility. Therefore, this action does not support a moral academic society. It is important to acknowledge that AI can be helpful and a very important learning tool. It can support brainstorming, grammar correction, and understanding difficult concepts. However, the ethical issue arises when students generate AI work as their own. Kant would likely argue that the problem is dishonesty, not the technology itself. From a Kant's perspective, I believe that using AI to assist learning is acceptable, but submitting AI generated work as your own is morally wrong. Students have a duty to be honest, responsible, and respectful of others when it comes to their academic work. Education is meant to develop understanding, and dishonesty undermines this purpose. In conclusion, Kant's three formulations of the categorical imperative all suggest that submitting AI generated work as one's own is unethical. This behavior would destroy academic integrity, it treats others unfairly, and it weakens the moral foundation of education. Therefore, from a perspective of everyone, honesty and responsibility must guide academic work. Thank you for listening.